Konnichiwa! Now I love physical retro game collecting. In fact, this entire room is full of physical games and consoles. But every now and then, I like to jump into the world of emulation and modding. And more recently, I've been looking at what other consoles would be great for emulation. And I stumbled across probably one of the best consoles for any kind of retro video gaming. And that's the Nintendo Wii. In fact, the Nintendo Wii is so versatile that I decided that this week I would try and replace the guts of my Mame arcade cabinet over here and see if I could get a Wii to run all of my Mame arcade gaming. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. Welcome back to the Retro Gamer Boy Show. If you haven't subscribed and you're new to the channel, then why not click on the little subscribe button down there. We create a ton of retro gaming videos every week. And every Wednesday, I'm live on this very arcade cabinet here, streaming live at the arcade with Sega Head. We spend every Wednesday evening geeking out on gaming and retro video games, whilst we smash our way through some of the best arcade beat-em-ups out there. Now I love my Mame arcade cab, but the guts of that machine are getting old. The PC inside of it is an old Pentium and is over 20 years old, and it's starting to show. Struggles to load up some of the ROMs. I'm always having to do maintenance on it. And so I thought, is there another way that I could get my arcade games onto the cab itself? And I looked around my games room and found this bad boy, the Wii. Now I haven't soft modded or done anything to the Wii, I've kept it as it is. But I've pretty much transferred all my Wii content over to my Wii U, which I predominantly play for my Wii games. And so I thought, actually, I could probably soft mod this to work with my arcade cab. Now generally, I don't like to mod my games consoles, and that's because I like to keep them in their original state. But as I researched the soft modding for the Wii, I actually found out the community have done a stunning job with it, creating an amazing suite of tools. Having seen what soft modding does for the Wii, I've decided to take on a small challenge this weekend and see if I can get my Wii to work with my main cab. Now to start with, I've searched YouTube and found an awesome tutorial that's going to take me through the step-by-step process of how to set up soft modding for your Nintendo Wii. And I'm going to link the tutorial I'm going to use in the description below. And because that tutorial already exists, we won't go through the entire tutorial there. You can just link to that and find out exactly how to do it. Now the key components that this tutorial will add is the Homebrew channel. You'll have USB Loader GX, D2XC iOS installer. There'll be the Homebrew browser. We'll install Nintendo Don't, and we'll add Preloader. Right, time to kick off with the tutorial and see if I can get all of that goodness onto my Wii console without bricking it. Now whilst that's all installing, let's take a retrospective look at the Wii as a retro gaming console. Now even if you don't go and soft mod your console, it was already an established retro gamer's paradise. There are a ton of official software emulators that came with the Wii that you could download from the store. But probably the biggest thing for retro gamers is the fact that this console plays GameCube games. The Wii is one of the best consoles to play GameCube games outside of the actual GameCube itself. And that's because this little console here is a GameCube itself. Now if you've got the right version of the console, and you'll know this because you can lift up these flaps here, you'll see that it has all of the ports needed to run a GameCube. The only things missing are the lower attachments that allowed you to have the network adapter and the Game Boy SP adapter. It makes the Nintendo Wii the de facto retro gamers console for Nintendo fans. Hardware emulation of the GameCube, one of the most beloved consoles from Nintendo. Software emulation of some of the most popular retro gaming consoles ever made. Now if you didn't have a chance to download all those games when the Wii first came out, this is where the soft mod will also help. So I finished doing the soft mod of my Nintendo Wii and it went pretty smoothly. There was just one thing that was different, and that was with a zip file, I was supposed to unpack it and see an apps folder. It wasn't there, so I just created the apps folder myself and everything else worked. And you can see my Nintendo Switch is pretty much unchanged. In fact, I can put a game disc into the Nintendo and it will appear at the top up here. But the big thing is we have a brand new app on my Nintendo Wii home screen. We can see here we now have the Homebrew channel. Clicking on that allows me to access all of the options that this soft mod has to offer. So here is our home screen for the Homebrew app, and each one of these are applications that I can use. The next cool thing is we've got the Homebrew browser, and instead of going in and going onto the internet, downloading things from your PC onto your memory card, this does it all for you. And this is where I got the Mame Wii app from. It's essentially the shopping channel, but for modders. You can get all of your emulations from this channel. Your NES, SNES, Mega Drive, Neo Geo, and the Mame app, which I've downloaded here. We're going to quickly boot into the Mame app over here, and then we're going to take this console over here and try turn it into a brand new Mame cab. First off, we're going to try find somewhere to get this Wii actually so it has purchase on the arcade machine. So probably best like this. Let's get power in. Let's get the Wii to HDMI out. Stick that there. We'll need the Wii sensor bar. Stick that there. We need to get the X Arcade adapter, which allows this control panel up here to work with the Wii. So we'll just plug in that. We'll stick that in there the right way. Then we need HDMI out, and I don't know which cable it is, so I'm going to guess. We'll see if we're right. Let's put that in there. We need audio. Audio in. Right. I think that's everything. Let's try switch it on and see what we get. So we've got everything set up. We've got the Wii here with the soft mod and Mame installed on it. And we can see Mame on the screen over here. We've got the X controller plugged into this panel over here. And we've got the HDMI to Wii converter in the back. And who would have thought that the audio jack would actually come into some use? But that's how we're getting sound into the speaker system on my main cab. So let's see if this is going to work. It's looking good so far. Come on. Yes! Right, now does the Xcade actually work? Let's add some credits. And again. Right, let's start. This is pretty amazing. Right, off we go. Freaking awesome! So we've done it. We've converted my Wii into a Mame arcade unit. Kind of. At least it's the guts. It's the thing that's powering this arcade machine here at the moment. But would I ever use the Wii to replace the old PC that I have running this Mame arcade machine? Probably not. For starters, the audio is horrifically distorted. And I have no idea why. Maybe it's an older version of Mame, maybe because it's coming through the Wii to HDMI adapter, but the audio just isn't great. Next up, the picture is pretty terrible. Now I think if you're an amateur, if you're someone that just wants to kind of do this for a bit of fun, maybe not put it in your arcade machine but play it on your screen, it's probably okay to get that nostalgic hit. But for me, when I play these arcade games, I kind of want them as close as I can to perfect, or at least the experiences I used to have when I was in the arcade in the 80s and 90s. And this picture is far from pixel perfect. Now again, I think this could be because it's going through the Wii to HDMI converter, and the fact that the Wii only puts out a 480p signal, and this is a 1080p screen. So we're probably getting some screen stretch and artifacts just from that alone. And then there's the setup. You need the Wii controller, you need to go through the menu systems, you have to go through the booting screens just to get into Mame itself. Whereas I've set up this arcade to run Hyperspin, and it goes straight into Hyperspin, straight into my arcade games. So it's a lot more convenient. This was a fun exercise to do. It took me the morning to get everything set up. To be honest, to get the Wii set up and running Homebrew took me like 20 minutes, and then I spent about an hour after that adding a couple of extra things. So if you just want to get your Wii set up to play old arcade games, play old any kind of games, it's pretty simple to do and really powerful. It makes Wii one of the best consoles for retro gaming. But as for a substitute for a Mame arcade machine, it's probably not your best option. I'd say that the Wii is perfect for those that want to get that casual experience of retro gaming. It's definitely not an elitist's or hardcore retro gamers solution to retro gaming. If you enjoyed this show, why not consider subscribing by clicking on my little pixel head down below. And remember, we make brand new shows every single Monday, and you can catch them by just clicking on the bell that's below this video here. And if you can't wait until Monday, then we have a huge back catalogue of retro videos that you can enjoy, 2 of which you can find over here.